Hello, welcome to the second episode of my superhero character design lessons. This one is aimed for secondary school students, so that's ages 11 to 16. But, if you are in primary school and you found that the previous episode was a little bit too easy for you, or you just want to have another crack at it at a little bit more of an advanced level, please join in. Parents as well, I'd love for you to join in. Last time around, we got loads of cool stuff. We got some pictures that some of the kids had done of their characters. I'd love to see more of that on the Facebook page. I got some extra patrons on Patreon, which, again, brilliant. Really helps me out and helps me do this show more often, which would be great. It would be absolutely incredible if I could do this not just once a week. But it's very hard for me to do that at the moment. If you don't want to give it on Patreon, absolutely fine. The lessons are still going to be free. But if you do want to help the show out a little bit, mint if you can go on to Patreon. Link will be below in this description. Anyway, let's crack on, shall we? This is our main villain. He's called Crossfire. I came up with him many years ago. He is, I'll get you a bit closer to him there. He's a hitman. Think of him like a reverse Batman. So what I'm aiming for with this older course is to give you characters that are more relatable to you, characters that are maybe more exciting than the ones you might have if you were a bit younger. So if you're a bit younger, you want that clear, defined good versus evil thing going on. Whereas when you're a bit older, you want the lines to be a bit more blurred. So you want the likes of, say, this guy, for example. Yes, he's a hitman. Yes, he's an evil billionaire or millionaire. Yes, he is the worst, but he's really fun and he's really cool and he'll have some good traits, much like characters like, say, Deadpool or Deathstroke. Still cool. So some of the characters that you might like to emulate, because I know I certainly did when I was coming up with characters when I was a teenager, is the likes of, say, The Darkness, Daredevil. These are my favourite characters growing up. Spawn. And I absolutely love this book. It's called The Authority. And they're basically like the Justice League, but they are so dark, so twisted. Really, really cool characters. Although, that said, you might prefer the clear-cut good versus bad. I'm not going to judge because I think as long as you're reading comics, you're doing something good. Just like with the previous one, we want to come up with a character who morally is the antithesis of our character of Crossfire. So what we can look at is, what is Crossfire? So let's say, so he's a millionaire. Millionaire playboy. Much like Bruce Wayne. What else is he? He is a hitman. And one of the world's best. Number one hitman. What else is he? So, he has no superpowers. Has training. He's in excellent peak condition. And he's loaded with weapons. Much like a character like, say, Deadshot or something along those lines. He is tall and handsome. Precise is a word you can put with him because he gets the job done quickly. He's a philanthropist as well, so that's where I wasn't sure whether I was spelling that right. So he is very charitable in his normal guise. He isn't a hitman to the general public. He's a very, very well-off, well-to-do millionaire who goes out, does deeds of charities and so on and so forth. But then behind closed doors, if he gets a big job that's going to pay a lot of money, he will go out and he will shoot someone to death till they're dead. That made no sense. So that sort of sums him up a little bit. So what we want is the opposite of these sort of things, or someone who is on par with them. So a millionaire playboy. So what is your opposite of a millionaire? Well, it's a worker, isn't it? It's someone who doesn't get all the millions. So it's someone from low income. You know, so that could be someone with, say, working background, maybe a disability or benefits background. Maybe even self-employed person, you know, or the child of these. So someone who comes from that life, you know, that is the opposite of this, you know. Or maybe if, say, for example, Crossfire was this and worked his way up to this through his various ill deeds. Maybe this could be someone who was previously rich, you know, and then had a fall from grace and became just a normal guy, you know. That could happen. So let's say, and this person's a #1 hitman. So what that says to me is everyday guy. So everyday person, you know, isn't the best at what they do, but is still really good. Or they could be in law enforcement or something, you know, trained to stop these people. So we could put like former, sorry about my handwriting, by the way, it is awful. Former operative. You know, that could be for the police. Or MI5 / the feds. You know, could be anyone like that. No powers, trainings, and weapons. So you don't want your hero to be like standing over the villain with all of this power, unless it's Superman, in which case he kind of gets around it because he comes at it more from a moral standpoint in many ways. So I would put him, so let's see, so our hero should also have no powers, in my opinion. Should rely on training and smarts as well, because he's going to have to talk his way out of these situations, or he's going to have to come up with plans to get out of dealing with a world famous assassin. Tall and handsome. I mean, I grew up as a massive Spider-Man fan, so I'm a big proponent of normal characters. So you got someone tall and handsome. Give me a Peter Parker who's a bit bookish, a bit normal looking. You wouldn't spot him from a crowd. So very normal and average, like 90% of people out there. Someone who you can really relate to. So Crossfire is precise. Maybe let's have someone who's a bit erratic. You know, maybe. And a philanthropist. So let's someone who, well, that just sort of links in with the low income, doesn't it? So what we got here, we've got someone who's low income. Maybe along this line, probably more police if there's going to be someone low income. Let's see, everyday person, that's a big one. No powers, a normal average person, very erratic behaviour. So I'm thinking, what if we go with this story? So our character, Former police. Forced retirement due to disability. So that put him into this category here. What can that disability be? It can be something that feeds into the erratic side of things. So our former police officer can have mental health issues. You know, maybe he's got bipolar disorder. Maybe he has, you know, really bad depression. It could be something along the lines of this has resulted in all of it. See, still an everyday person, you know, everyday, likeable. Since he's in forced retirement, that means he'll receive a police pension. So he will, and other than that, will be supplemented by state welfare. So he will not have a huge wage to live off. He won't be like Crossfire, who can get all these weapons. He has to be smart, so he has to use his police skills and his contacts. Let's see. Let's have him be quite average looking as well. And the erraticness comes in with that as well. Okay. So what I'm using here is Bristol board. It's my preferred type of paper drawn. It's not necessary. You can get away with any sort of paper really if you're just creating characters, and even if you're doing some comics, which we'll get to. But I prefer it. You know, I really like using this sort of stuff. I mainly work digital now on an iPad Pro, but that's not for everyone. Okay, so let's get our character drawn. So if he's going to be average, let's get him with a bit of a long head. And a little bit of a hunched back as well. Not so much a hunchback, but with a slump. He walks a bit of a slump. Like I said in the previous one, I like to go over with a blue pencil first of all to get all my proportions right and my framing of the picture right, because you can be as messy as you want and it doesn't show up a lot of the time when you scan it. So that's in there. So that's his top. So if you set out where the body parts are going to be, it makes it easy when you're drawing the clothes. So that's like where his chest will be, where his midsection is. So he's go. I'd love to know how you're all holding up in this current time of quarantine, because I know that it's hard at the moment. Just want to get out there and have fun. I want to see friends, see family, and yet we can't. We are stuck indoors for the foreseeable future, and the one thing we've got to enjoy are our hobbies, unless your hobbies involve your friends, unfortunately. So he's got one hand in that pocket, one hand in the other, thumb over the top. So he's quite skinny, as you can see. That's his neck there. This bit here is his nose. When you make this blue outline of what your character's going to look like, I normally do this sort of cross here, and I always have the middle bit be where the nose is going to go. So he used to be in the police, so I think we'll make him in a sort of a detective style character, especially when you look at the way he's hunched. So let's get a big trench coat over him here. Looks like Columbo, or one of the characters from the noir film from the 1940s. You know, the more I speak, the more I realise how old I am. Because if you're in secondary school right now, you were probably born in, let's say, 2004 at the latest. Yeah, you won't even know half what I'm on about. But yeah, I recommend going to see stuff like really old detective films, because I really enjoy them. The Big Sleep is one of my favourite with Humphrey Bogart in. Absolutely awesome. But then you've also got the more modern ones. Well, I say modern, they'll still come out like 10 years before you were born. So like Seven, it's on Now TV at the moment. It is awesome. And it's an amazing modern detective film with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman in. And, oh God, I just can't say enough good things about that film. Right. And then again, if you are a fan of this genre, the detective genre, check out stuff by Ed Brubaker. He's a comic book writer. So he's written things like Fatale and The Fade Out, which are these really awesome detective stories set in the 1940s America, and they're just so cool and so stylish. And the artwork is to die for. Now, one of the good things about drawing the likes of a trench coat on your characters is you don't have to add muscle detail. Personally, I quite like adding muscle detail, but if you are quite new to this whole thing and anatomy might not be your strong point, then make sure you draw overflowing clothes. I'd love to see what characters you're coming up with drawn at the moment based off. You don't have to base it off my villain, you know. If you've got a villain in mind that you like, you can use that. Here's his thumb there. Make him sort of gloves. Let's go the whole hog with this whole detective look. So, open shirt there. Loose tie, Marie's. I give him a waistcoat actually. So his tie's kind of tucked in there. And a belt buckle there. What I quite like with a character like, say, Crossfire, that we've got as the main villain of this piece, is that it's a really silly thing, but it's a cool design that I found that I really enjoy, which is where he's got the little flick of hair coming up. And I think it might be quite cool if his enemy, this hero, has the same kind of hair popping up out of the mask, if he even wears a mask. I think I might even wear a mask. I think I might make him a little bit like a character like the Spirit. It was a character by Will Eisner. If you're not familiar, don't watch the film, it's pretty terrible. But the character itself is really, really cool. Sort of came out in, like, say, the 40s, which is a big conversation in this. Let's give him... That looks a bit like Batman's mask there. A little bit. Let's make his face more gaunt, because he's meant to be an everyday guy who suffers from mental health issues. Where the ear would be, you get a little bit of a bulge there. Let's think, what can we have as a hairdo? Let's see. Crossfire has his going this way. Let's have his going the opposite way. Crossfire's is quite neat as well. Let's have his be a little bit more messy. That's kind of a detective character right there. Right, now once you've got that laid down, go over it with the regular pencil. I always use mechanical. I can't be bothered with sharpening my pencil every 20 minutes. It wastes time, in my opinion, but any pencil will do. Then you just go over the blue lines that you want to go over. Get his facial features correct here. So he's quite gaunt, so he doesn't have as big a chin as the really handsome people. So it's quite low down. Let's try and get a little indent in the chin there. Let's give him some stubble, because, you know, he's down his luck. He probably doesn't want to look after himself that much. And when you're down on your luck, you have an excuse not to shave, because no man really likes shaving. So when you're drawing eyes, remember the eyelid at the top. And you never really get, like when you're drawing eyes, for example. So you get the eyelid there. And this is a fully open eye. You never get a small pupil like that. You always get big eyes like this, and they always touch at least the top of the eyelid or the bottom. So you never get them standing alone there, like you do in the cartoons like that. They're never like that. But then it's your style if you prefer working that way, and if it looks good, then go for it. Get the temple in there. Remember the shading. He's going to wear a dark mask. We're going to have shading just under his eyebrow. And I feel like adding some wrinkles in his clothing is going to help as well, just to show what sort of dishevelled guy this is. I did have a character similar to this many years ago, but he was like a handsome version of this. And the thing you might realise as you get older and your comic art increases, if you choose to go down this road, you might just be doing it for a bit of fun at the moment, it might not be something you carry on with, but as you get older, if you continue with this, you might find that you end up recycling ideas from years ago without even knowing it half the time. And then you're halfway through drawing and you realise, oh wait, I've done something similar to this. And I definitely have, a good few years ago. If I can find them, I'll put some pictures up on the screen of that. Shadow under his chin as well. His collarbone there. Let's have the bottom of his mask shown, just to show that he didn't take too much attention as he was leaving the house. If I can remember on as well, I'll give you an example of my first ever comic. And you watching this, if you were in secondary school, you're currently in your golden age for creativity, in my opinion. Because I was in secondary school when I realised I wanted to be a comic book artist. I was drawing Dragon Ball Z comics for a friend. And if I can remember on, I'll post some pictures of them on either the Facebook page or on this video. Because clothes a little bit more dishevelled. There we go. I don't know what it is. I have a place in my heart for the really down on your luck, can't catch a break type characters like, say, Daredevil or Jesse from Preacher. I just find them more interesting. Get some in there. It's all about getting the little details in as well, because you can really tell a lot about a character
by how they dress. So clearly with this guy, he's depressed because he doesn't care too much about how he dresses. Although, considering he's still out there fighting crime, he must have some sort of obsession as well. And by what he wears, you can tell that involves detective work or police work, whatever, because you've got the big trench coat. And he's trying to look professional, although he doesn't quite have the mental strength to put the real effort in for that. Shading, so the light's fallen from this way. That's why the shadow over his chin, under his chin, sorry, is coming down like that. So you'll want thicker lines on this side. Or you might do the opposite side. It's however you do it, of course. There is no right or wrong way to do this. Just pick up the pencil and start drawing. And I would love to show off your work on the Facebook page. That's J Horner Illustration on Facebook. The support for this series over there has been phenomenal. Like, I've never felt such gratitude for this series. It's been pretty overwhelming. Let's give him a bit of shade on this side as well. Always love drawing trench coats as well. Don't know why. I think it's the same reason some people like drawing capes. The way that they flow down and just how cool they look. Crease of the pants. And this is coming down. So there we have a character. I don't know what to name him. Let's see. Something involving detectives, I think. Like, what we could do is another little, just rub that bit out there. Just do a mini brainstorm. So let's say Inspector see, rookie. Like a rookie cop. It could be a veteran. Gumshoe is what they call detectives. Private Dick. PI. Let's see. Shamus or Seamus, I don't know, but I've seen that written down about them. DCI, is it? No. The Bill. The Fuzz. Just realise, like, come on this side, let's add a bit more there. I quite like this. So I think I'm going to call him the Gumshoe. And next time around, I'm going to show you comic book inking, in which case we're going to take this character, we're going to use things like fine liner pens or brush pens. I don't know if I've got one here. Yeah. Like a brush pen, for example. And we're going to go over him and make him look all neat.
So thanks for that. There he is. All of his glory. I'll post that up on the Facebook page. So next week I will be doing another of the primary school ones. I'd love to do a secondary school education one. That will be the week after. If you want to support the show, as I said at the beginning of the video, pop down in the description, you'll see a link to my Patreon. It gets you loads of goodies, including access to my own graphic novel. You know, it gets you prints made of your name, well, with your name on at least, and that can be emailed to you because sending stuff at the moment's a bit of a pain. And I mean, thanks very much. I've been and shall continue to be Gianna. Catch you later.